right, enough. And there's a reason why I wanted to end with the infamous Led Zeppelin, Stairway to Heaven. All right, so I wanted to talk about what I guess everybody else has been talking about and put my 2 cents in it. It's about a story that it's kind of shocking, but to me, it was only a matter of time before this actually happened with all this, social channels with YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. It's the Giacomo Turro story. So there's a lot of people talking about it. Everybody from Rick Beato talking about it. I was just listening to something with JP Cormier. So yeah, so if you guys haven't heard about this, it was bound to happen, and a lot of it's probably been happening a lot. It talks a lot about, I guess, the human behavior, leveraging technology, and what people will go through. So if you haven't heard of it, so Giacomo Turro is an Italian guitarist. At least he purports to be that. That's basically more like a jazz fusion player. He's primarily on TikTok, Instagram, and he's got a YouTube channel. At least had a YouTube channel. And this guy's a shredder. I mean, plays really, really fast, all the right notes, everything. Now, there's a couple of things that's wrong with what he's been doing. The first thing is that he's been stealing other people's work without crediting it. And when I say stealing, it's not something that says inspired by or, hey, I'm playing this thing. It's kind of like Eddie Van Halen. It's as if like you would play the Van Halen solo Eruption note for note, and hold it as yours. What's even worse about that is he was doing it from other YouTube and social influencers channels that did not have the same following that he had, and he has millions and millions of following. So in other words, he would go to somebody's content that had maybe 300-400 subscribers, and based upon what they were playing, and they might be they might be prodigies, they're definitely virtuosos in their own right, and he would basically steal this stuff and play it note for note. Not inspired by, not a little bit like that, basically note for note. So that's the first thing. All outright stealing. So it's not like, hey, I'm going to play a song and I'm going to play it in the style of that player. So that's the first thing. So that's not cool. Now, if we couldn't get it a little bit worse than that, at least I heard he was also transcribing these things purportedly and selling the transcription. So imagine you're a guy that goes to Berkeley, North Texas State, and you go and you study. You've got a great set of ears. You've got great musical things, talents, but you haven't been found. Some clown comes on your channel, steals your stuff because you don't know how to market yourself. You've got only 50 subscribers. And not only does he or she play the stuff, then they transcribe it and selling it as their own without giving you, any daps or anything like that. So you got playing the stuff, outright thievery, and you've got selling the transcription. And in case matters can get even worse, um, I guess he also has endorsements with like luthiers and builders and things of that nature. So I have like what is it? A Lombardozzi, Sean Lombardozzi. He built me a custom arch top that I have. It's a 14 and a half inch custom guitar. I love that guitar. I mean, I actually paid for it, so he didn't give it to me for me to promote it on this channel or anything. I imagine if I didn't pay for it, but he gave it to me on the knowledge that I would kind of play it to promote his guitar and things of that nature. But I played a little bit of the guitar, boom, and then I sold that guitar. Well, that's what he did. So purportedly, he would take builders' guitars that was given to him, play him for maybe one time, and then sell it. And some of these builders were finding out that their guitars were being sold by just watching somebody else on Instagram play the guitar. So this guy's got three X's on him. He's got, boom, outright thievery. The second thing is selling transcriptions of that. The third is basically, you know, selling stuff that he shouldn't be selling because they're not rightfully his and not actually owning up to that. The last one, which is the third one, which is kind of like, I think the most egregious. And this one I think happens a lot more than people realize. It's the miming effect. So apparently at the end of the day, this guy is not really that good of a guitarist. As Rick Beato points out in his video, he had him in his studio and he was like, this guy can't really play this stuff that he's playing on there. And he never put out that video. So there are people who get nervous and they can't play things like that. And there's things that are over processed. Just like it's an editing room kind of thing, like whether it be like you're singing, you're playing, you're a musician, things of that nature. But I guess what he was doing, he was basically manipulating technology, slowing things down, playing it note for note, and then speeding back up to pitch. And when other people who are better and smarter than me are doing this, they were able to dissect the videos and basically say, hey, this guy's not even playing this stuff. He is miming this thing. And that's not as bad to me in the sense of this because I grew up in the age of Milli Vanilli. For those of you old enough to remember this, it's the whole lip syncing kind of scandal where they had these good looking guys. One guy had a dread, and I forgot the other guy, but they looked really hip. They looked the part, but they couldn't sing a lick. And they were basically, miming the songs, and one time the audio went off and you could tell that they were lip syncing and they could not sing at all. And when the guy later on tried, one of them tried to sing, he was pretty obvious he couldn't sing. So that's basically what's happened to this guy, Giacomo Turro, this Italian dude. So basically, he's a fraud. I guess for me, what I kind of wanted to talk about is what would possess you to go to this level to perpetrate all of this stuff? Are you just a bad human being? Because this is not an oversight. There's just too many X's. It's against this guy. You're stealing other people's stuff and not crediting them. You're selling transcriptions that are not yours, and you're basically stealing money from them. You're selling guitars based on deals that you had to just promote this stuff, not sell it. And miming this thing, and you're not really that good of a player, and being fraudulent. I think the thing that gets to me is that this was eventually going to happen given the nature of social media. There are so many different formats and so many of these people playing like 30 seconds that are really, really fast. And to me, one of the reasons nothing is ever edited in my videos because I just don't edit stuff. I'm not trying to hold myself up. I don't really care. I'm not a professional musician. I'm a nerdy dude that's in technology. And I got one question after this that I really kind of want to pose, but I'm in technology. And I've been playing guitar a really, 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 really long time. And at the end of the day, when I see some of these prodigies, there are really, really some of them that are real. But there's a lot of fakes out there. I mean, there are people who study and play all the time, and they just don't the stuff that they're doing is so incredible. Let's just put it that way. And yeah, it is real. And some people really are prodigies and have that talent. But I would assert that a lot of people do not have as much talent. And we beat ourselves over this because I think when we're watching people play, specifically on things like TikTok and Instagram, especially these platforms where it's like 30-second bites, people don't want to listen to like 9, 10 minutes videos and things of that nature. When you're dealing with that thing, it's getting quickened out, and you want to promote yourself as like this great player. First of all, I don't really care about speed that much. I will never be the fastest player. I won't be the best. So I'm not trying to impress people with my playing, and from that perspective. But I think that we're guilty of being so impressed with that 30-second bite-sized playing of speed, of technique, that we're the ones that are enabling this. And technology has come such a long way that in and of itself, it's a misuse of technology with everything from, you name it, Logic Pro, slicing and dicing things, your videos. I can see overly edited videos left and right, and I kind of get it. But one of the beauties of social media, or at least YouTube, I thought was, man, play it like you play it. Don't over edit stuff. I hate watching things that seem over processed, period. Right. Yeah, I get it. Sometimes the video is too long. You need to cut this. You need to do that, like that. But don't edit your playing like that. Have the mistakes, have the clicks and the clacks. That's how, that to me, I keep it real. And that's the thing that bothered me the most about this is the word authenticity, or in this case, the lack thereof of authenticity. Be who you are. I don't give a damn if I play the same solos over and over again, but I'm being true to myself. This is how I play, period. This is who I am, and that. And then the worst thing about this guy was he's not really a good guitar player. I've been seeing some videos of him playing with other people, and it became pretty obvious, like I said, as Rick Beato pointed out, that this guy is not a player. He's a fake dude. The Adam Neely video on the ethics of fake guitar is a good one, or I should say, it's not a good one. It's a great one, and it's a cranium approach to this whole thing in the sense that he's looking at it. It's not so much unethical to mime something because, as he points out in that video, there are a lot of instances where people are doing that. If you've got something like the Super Bowl and Whitney Houston is lip syncing, the Star Spangled Banner. And things of that nature, or the Beatles are doing something, or even Wes Montgomery. There's a video that not Adam but Rick Beato references, and it shows Wes Montgomery playing a song, and it's kind of like he's not really playing it because the guitar's not plugged in, but that. And the reason that some of these people can get away with it, like the Beatles, like Whitney Houston, like even like a Wes Montgomery, is because we already know they can play. Okay. Sometimes you have to do those things, and I get this because of the limitations of technology, not the limitations on your ability. Let me say that again. There's a big difference between the limitations of technology, or technology will make it better, as opposed to like, I really can't play this stuff, but I'm gonna just jack the whole thing up and cut and slice and dice it and play it that way. And so yeah. So there you have it, some of those things. The last thing I want to talk about, it's kind of funny. I could reference that I work in technology, and then as we know, there's AI, artificial intelligence. Everybody here probably knows of Chat GPT. I work for a company that we have a thing called chatbots, chat layer, and things of that nature, primarily in financial services, not to digress here, and things of that nature. But I've often wondered, would I be cheating if I go to Chat GPT and I pick out a really, really, really hard jazz standard, and I say, "Hey, Chat GPT, um, chart out a solo for me for," and it's not that hard, but like say, "So what?" Chat out a solo, and it does, and I learn that solo, and then I go and play that solo, and and it's a good solo or what have you. Um, yeah, I think it would be cheating if I did not say, "Hey, by the way, I used Chat GPT to come up with this solo, and here it is." If I was like looking at you guys and being really cool and then just kind of playing this stuff as if and perpetrating that it was my own, yeah, no, that's not cool. Don't steal other people's work. Borrowing. Everybody borrows. Everybody knows that. Stairway to Heaven. We've heard it a million times. Like I played that a little bit, but we know what it is. I'm not trying to play like Jimmy Page or anything like that. There's a difference between saying I am inspired by Jimi Hendrix, I'm inspired by George Benson, I'm inspired by Pat Metheny and Pat Martino and things of that nature, to just playing their stuff if they weren't famous and you didn't know the lines, and then me coming on here and saying that this is mine, and then me trying to sell that stuff to you and things of that nature. So there you have it, folks. It's ugly, and it's one of those things that like I said, was bound to happen with all of these social channels and everybody trying to get the notoriety and become famous in a millisecond. So again, as usual, practice, 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 practice your own stuff, steal other people's things, but give them credit, and yeah, take it from there. Thank you again for watching.